you an edgy teenager who thinks Kingdom Hearts has complex writing? Are dark alternative OCs of characters your thing? Listening to Evanescence on full blast. Turn down that ruckus! Nemesis Prime is the perfect gift for you, just make sure you have a keyblade. This unnatural entity didn't really take off until Transformers Armada and was introduced as a monster taking the form of the Autobot Leader, even sharing his strengths with the bonus of being able to rebuild himself and scare the bejeebas out of me. While he was only in one episode at the time, the idea of a dark opposite to Optimus and his sheer power gained him a popular following, with many Takara repaints and a few from Hasbro following the footsteps. Power of the Primes was also given the treatment with an Amazon exclusive pack and introduced the idea of a dark version of Optimus Prime's past self as Nemesis Pax. With all this and more, is it too much, or can he pull himself together? Nemesis Prime transforms into a semi-rig. Well, actually, Nemesis Pax is the truck, and the trailer is the Evolution Prime setup. This beast is completely decked out in black, with a G1 themed sticker running the side of the trailer in silver and teal, red transparent and painted windows on the front, silver highlights, and teal for the cab. The overall aesthetic of the mold really isn't consistent and clean, but thanks to the dark deco, it seems to hide a lot of the blemishes. But take a closer inspection and you'll find the arms resting there, joints, and aggressive panel lining. A part of me accepts it considering there's so much going on, but is that a good excuse? I'm not a toy designer, but I feel they could have fixed this. Oh well, good enough, let's ship it. You can detach the trailer from the head, and yeah, starting to really pick out the imperfections. I guess it's close enough to a truck, but those heels... Did you even try? The cab seems pretty small, but hello, trailer. And the smokestacks are tiny. I'm sorry, Studio Series Optimus Prime, you're forgiven. Now, Nemesis Prime is slightly more expensive than the average leader figure of its time, which I expected being an Amazon exclusive. But they made up for it with a couple of swords and guns. Open up the sides and you can plug the guns here Magnus style. You'll get a huge gap on the side, but... that cab though. There's no tab so they just swing open, and there's no flow, but with bulky weapons like those, who cares? Just have fun. The swords can combine and attach to the top, feel slapped on, but... welcome to Transformers. The rifle, carried over from the original deco, attaches between the arms. We'll come back to it later. Don't turn that remote. If you value your hands, don't fucking turn that goddamn remote. You could also stand the Prime Master on the trailer, but that seems a little dangerous. Not because of safety concerns, but because of riding a demonic robot alien truck. Alt mode isn't perfect, but if you feel it gets the job done, then you shouldn't be too worried about it. Just wish they did more. Robot mode! Pax is an accidental child of Power of the Primes, Optimus Prime, and Hasbro's need for money. It's an interesting concept that landed on our doorstep that I hope they continue down the road. Though I'm guessing a demonic opposite to a librarian is just balls to the wall loud as fuck. The head seems to be a chunky version of Optimus Prime, and while I think I'd prefer something closer to the Orion Pax base, it wins an edgy teen mohawk made of raptor claws. I don't care for the head rotation. It's too tight, and considering the joint it's on, it could break. Good news is you can leave it straight in each mode. Did someone say articulation? Head rotates, ball joint shoulders, double elbow, ball joint hips, knee bend, and feet. Oh, the feet! They're just on a pin and there's no appropriate stopping point to keep it straight, so if you shift his weight forward, he cripples. While I appreciate the covers for the ball joints moving separately from the leg, it can tag onto the leg itself and put it to a halt. I don't think it will break, I'm just starting an awareness campaign. This might be mine, but these back titties don't like to stay in place. They flap in the wind, so I might have to fix it. But where are the weapons? Well, it's hiding on the top of the trailer. If you call it hiding. It's tricky to open and a little more work than I want. You'll probably have to pop off these side panels, but when you get it out, split it in half, and you have two legitimate blasters. Might be a little chunky looking and short, but they work perfectly fine on their own as he dual wields them. But if you're not into that, you can use any of the swords, and these blasters won't work. Oh. The color scheme is great with that teal, silver, and trans red branching out while still keeping an unlit cosmetic design. And while the feet suck edgy dick, the Goblin Prime face and compelling concept is really intriguing. But the fun doesn't stop there. It's Nemesis Prime, not just Pax, for a reason. The Nemesis Prime armor engulfs the block of Nemesis packs to fill the empty void within his chest. I'm jealous, and locks itself into place. Keep in mind, there's a black tab in the back that you'll have to push down to unlock. Though I will admit, without it, it's probably more amusing than it should be, like those carnival cutouts you put your face in. Make sure you flip up the peg, or the tooth fairy's gonna kick your shit in. In the typical fashion, Nemesis Prime's deco remains continuous through the years, with black as the main color, teal and gunmetal accents, and transparent red for the windows. It's good, but it's missing something. Weapon additions aside, the core figure feels like it's lacking something, and I think there's just too much black. Now that's a good thing in a way because those absurd panels tuck away in the shadows. I mean, Nemesis Prime has kind of become a tradition. I don't know how it'll be with the Takara Hasbro mishmash, but nearly every Prime toy has had a black deco. Waiting for MP44's turn. But this needs a bit more teal or silver. Not a lot so it doesn't take away from the dark concept, but it's taken back from the rest of the pack. Samurai Jack. Again, much like the Pax figure, his head mold has changed over to a new design, but not as new as you probably think. This sculpt matches that of the TFCC Toxitron from the Combiner Wars mold. It's like the Decepticon logo plowed Optimus Prime in the face to make this, and for some reason he feels unsettlingly joyous. I think he's going to say the F word. Did someone say articulation? Ball jointed head, shoulders out and in, forward and back, rotation below, elbow bend, hips out and in, forward and back, rotation below, knee bend, foot forward and back, and tilt side to side. With the exception of the loose in and out hip joints and feet that should have locked into place, most of the joints are pretty solid. You can flip up the shoulder panel and raise the arms to terrorize bears. I don't like how everything shifts when you move the arms. I feel like the panels could break. And even though his thighs are hollow, most of everything else is pretty well covered. Yes, the kibble covering the gaps on the arms count. He feels pretty solid for the most part, aside from the torso panels that can lock out of place. He feels pretty thick. Maybe that has something to do with the guy's legs on the back. Considering everything going on here, I'll let it slide. It can't be perfect with an evolution gimmick like this, and I generally like the concept as long as it works. Aside from the obvious, his design cues are based off the Masterpiece toy. The second one, if you're confused. You can open up the chest and continue to open the secondary chest and try to get your sausage fingers inside to pull out the Matrix. It's just better to pop out the little guy and grab it from here. It's someone's turn on the Xbox. The Matrix is a neat idea with a black holder, purple frame, and trans red core. You can remove this and replace it with any of the Prime Masters and a majority of the Titans Returns head. It may be stupid, but dare to be stupid. Aside from this, Nemesis Prime comes with a hefty amount of accessories. His two smaller blasters combine to form the traditional ion blaster carried over from the original mold. It's pretty good, but let's add it to Pax's hand for storage as we take a look at the bonus weaponry that's exclusive to the set. Two giant blasters that can plug into the side of the arm, suggesting a nice nod to the original Armada figure, the very first version of Nemesis Prime. Skirts don't count! Somebody's been eating his spinach. If you don't get the joke, that's sad. He also comes with two swords, a nice dark saber with a gunmetal hilt and red blade that I'm sure somebody will use for Grimlock or Volcanicus, and another sword that's another character. Transform it and introduce yourself to Decepticon Giza. I feel like I just opened up a dark portal just saying that. Another nod to a previous Nemesis Prime figure, specifically the arms Micron from the Takara Prime toy. There's not much going on for Articulation, and while it's not a significant part of the toy, I gotta say that his sharp long wings is something to behold. You can attach the dark saber to his legs and this is terrifying. Could you imagine if birds could wield swords? I think we'd be afraid to go outside. Both blades look cool, and with all these accessories, it's nice to get, but I'm not sure if it really fits him. I mean, our mods suggest he could probably morph a bit from the Optimus base, but I don't think he's one to accessorize. Just wish they could fix the damn feet because... Oh, whoa! Are those stickers? Dude! Fuck off! I really enjoy having Nemesis Prime in my collection, and while the dark color really hides some visual distaste of the original, he just doesn't pop as much as I hoped for. It's weird too because the weapons do the opposite and make him look too busy. I think he just needs a little more teal or gunmetal gray. Not a lot that steps away from the core idea, but just enough to show up so he doesn't get run over crossing the street at dark. There's a lot of tiny detail just screaming for help that I feel there would be no harm in touching up. Otherwise, he's an alright toy. If you've got the Optimus Prime and like it, you get a little more out of this. If you're not interested, it's not like you need it, but if you have had no luck in getting a twisted version of our hero, then maybe this is for you. It all depends on what you want. And hey! Prime lives matter.